This video focuses on the call queue configuration steps available in the Teams Admin Center under Voice on the Call Queues tab only. With that said, you may want to pause this video now and read the highlighted recommended steps and notes so you are aware of the prerequisites that can be followed for the smoothest call queue configuration experience. In the Teams Admin Center, I'm going to expand Voice, scroll down, and then select Call Queues. To add a new call queue, I will select Add. At the top, call queues need a name. This is for my main call queue, so I will name this one CQ underscore main. Under resource accounts, I'm going to go ahead and click Add so I can add the resource account that I previously made for this call queue. So I'm going to search for CQ underscore main, click Add, and then Add at the bottom. Assign caller ID is optional. If you have a resource account that has a phone number assigned to it and you add it here, then the users who answer calls from this queue will have the added functionality of choosing to place their outbound calls and have their caller ID show as the number assigned to the resource account. And this would be a choice they can make on a call by call basis. For example, if you want these users to be able to show the main business phone number, you could put the resource account here that has the main phone number assigned to it. The language selector allows you to select the proper language for the voicemail transcription or the system prompts that play to the callers. English, United States. Next. Greeting is optional, but if you do want your callers to hear a specific message every time before getting connected to a person, then you can set one up here. Your options are to play an audio file, one that you already have, you can upload, or you can click Add a greeting message and simply type in the message that you want your callers to hear. Thank you for calling Univoip. Your call will be answered in the order received. The music on hold area, this determines what callers will hear while the system is attempting to find a person to answer. Most folks go with the default music. However, there is the option here if you want to upload your own file. I'll stick with default music. Next, call answering will let you select the users or the team or groups of users that will be able to answer calls that come into this queue. Best practice is to use the Choose Users and Groups option, and then add the 365 group that you would have already created. This way, if somebody new needs to be added, they can just be added at the group level instead of coming in here and clicking Add Users and then finding each person one at a time, which is also an option. I'll go ahead and add the 365 group that I already have created. The JQ team. Add. Conference mode, you want to leave that on. This is really a legacy setting for the Skype for Business folks. Next. Under routing method, you can choose how the calls are going to be presented to the users within this queue. So the attendant routing, that's going to be a ring all. If you have 10 agents, all 10 will get rung at the same time, and whoever picks it up first gets the call. Serial routing is another option. This is always going to be delivered to the first person listed in the group or on your user list. So whoever's on top of that list is going to get the lion's share of the calls. If you select round robin, the system remembers who received the last call. So when the next call comes in, it goes to the next person. So round robin is the most fair if you want to look at it that way. You also have the option to use longest idle, which is whatever user has been idle the longest. I'll set this queue for attendant routing. The presence-based routing selector, if this is on, that means that no calls will be presented to anybody in this queue if they are not in available status within the Teams client, the green icon. With this turned off, calls will be presented to the users regardless of their status within Teams. Call agents can opt out of taking calls. So with this turned on at the user level within Teams, the people in this queue, they'll be able to have their own slider where they can turn themselves available or not available as being part of this queue in real time. So if you want to have kind of a lockdown call center, have this off. and also have the presence-based routing off. Since most of our customers are using this call queue as really a ring group, I'm going to go ahead and leave these on and be nice to my users. The call agent alert time, this is going to be how long in seconds does each call get presented. This ties in a little bit to your routing method. Like I'm on attendant routing, everybody rings at the same time. So if I leave this at 30 seconds, that means that a call that comes in will ring everybody for 30 seconds before going on to what we call exception handling. Now, if I used one of these other routing methods, maybe 30 seconds is too long because the other methods are ringing one person at a time, not everybody. So with attendant routing, I think 30 is good. But if I was doing one of the other ones up here, I'd probably lower this to maybe 20, maybe even 15. Click next. The exception handling is broken out into three separate rules. The first one is called call overflow. Here you can place a numerical value into this field that says maximum calls in the queue, and this will limit the maximum number of callers that can be waiting so that if that threshold is passed and another call comes in, that extra call can be redistributed immediately. You can set this value to whatever you'd like, up to 200 calls holding. If I had 5 users in this queue, maybe I'll set this one to 5. They can all be on a call and another 5 can be waiting for help. Then what? And that's what this bottom area here is for. Now we can redirect the call. You probably don't want to disconnect at that point. So your options here is to play an audio file, and you can upload your own file. You can choose to add a greeting message. Whatever you type in here will be read out to the caller, like a long wait right now. Please try us again later. I think the best thing to do in most cases is to redirect the call to a shared voicemail box. And if you want to do that, you would click on redirect this call to, and then on this drop down, here are your choices. In my example, I want it to go to a shared voicemail box. Now I get to search for the 365 group that I've already created. I called it shared voicemail. Inside that group is going to be the same users that are part of this queue. So they can all get a copy of the voicemail and somebody can return the call. I always like to have transcription on. I like to skip the voicemail system message as well. If you don't skip this, it'll just say, please leave a message after the beep. You can upload your own file, in which case this is what they hear before the beep. But I think it's so much easier to click add a greeting message, and then this is the text to speech that will play before it goes beep. Maybe I'll say this. This queue has reached the maximum number of holders. Please leave a message at the tone or call us back at a later time. Again, it's up to you what you say here. The next section to look at is call timeout. So this is going to be a value that you set in minutes or minutes and seconds. You can set it up to 45 minutes max. And this is the absolute longest amount of time that a caller who is waiting to get answered can wait. If I leave it here at 20 minutes, right after the 20-minute mark, this is what's going to happen. Now, 20 minutes, that's a long time. I think I'm going to set this back to maybe 5 minutes. And anyone waiting after 5 minutes, I think I'll do the same thing as before. I'll redirect the call, and it's going to go to a shared voicemail. I do want transcription. I'll skip the voicemail system message because I'm going to add my own here. I'll say this queue has surpassed the allowable caller wait time. Please leave a message at the tone or call us back at a later time. And then the third option under exception handling has to do when there's no agents opted or signed in. So this is really when there's no agents available to service the queue at all. Like nobody's logged in, nobody's on a call with somebody else, there's just no one available. This slider here does allow you to only apply this setting for new calls, which means if I turn this on, any callers that are already in the queue will not be part of this rule. The available options here are to queue the call, which is really the same thing as doing nothing. You can disconnect the call, or what I'm going to do is redirect the call, and I'm going to go to that same spot, the shared voicemail. And I'll add my own greeting. There are no agents currently available to answer your call. Please leave a message at the tone or call us back at a later time. Next, authorized users are optional, but if you do click add and add one or more people here, those people on the list will be able to change the greeting of this queue, change the music on hold. They'll also be able to control, in other words, change the call overflow and the call timeout settings, and they'll be able to do it from the Teams client. They will not have access to the Teams admin center where we are now. In most cases, nobody needs to be added to this list, but it's up to you. That finishes configuring this queue. Now I'll hit submit. Thanks for watching.